sponsor the villages so that the screening can be done. Sponsor the people who are suffering there, the little kids. We need to actually contribute to their well.
But also as well, Inderpal, do you think more needs to be done to persuade men, especially, to go and visit their doctors more often?
Yes, I mean, until now, I think there was a big campaign with regards to the breast cancer. I mean, there's not been much talk about men suffering from cancer.
Yeah.
And
well, prostate cancer is a massive killer amongst men, isn't it?
You would not believe it. It's exactly the same figures as it is in women. I mean, but it's not spoken about as much.
81869 is the text number. If there's any comments you'd like to make on this about cancer awareness, and especially getting Asian men to go to the doctor. I mean, I have to say that I'm terrible at this. My father died of a heart attack, and after he died, my boss at the time and I, he suggested it, and we went for a private medical just to get everything kind of sorted out, and I haven't been back since to get anything like that done. Now, how easy is it? I'd like to know from you listening, when was the last time you had a health screening? Have you ever had one? To check for levels of cholesterol in your blood, for instance, or to early detection, because Inderpal, it's right to say, isn't it, that some cancers, if caught early enough, you can be completely cured of them, can't you?
That's right. I mean, as I got into the journey, I met so many people who actually came up and said, I mean, had I not got my screening done, there was some sort of an inspiration. They got the screening done, got it at the early stage, and it was a miracle. The treatment was fairly simple. And the moment you get into the second stage and the third stage, you just lose the plot.
Okay. Thank you very, very much indeed for that, Inderpal. We'll come back to you in a little while. 81869 is the text number. You can also email nihal@bbc.co.uk. I'd like to know about health screening. How difficult is it to get the man in the house to go to the GP? Oh, aches and pains is fine. It's all right. Get over it. Another glass of whiskey will sort that out, etc., etc. We are into a new year. How many of you have made a New Year's resolution to go and see the GP, to go and get a health screening? After all, a lot of the diseases that end up killing us are preventable with the right diet, the right lifestyle choices. 81869, that's the text number. You can email nihal@bbc.co.uk.
The official Asian download chart. This is your number one. Hear the full top 40 Saturday afternoon from 3 on BBC Asian Network.
It is 24 minutes past 11, and it's my great pleasure to say that my guest, Inderpal Shergill, drove not 9,000 but 14,000 miles in 48 days to raise awareness about cancer. The reason being is that he lost his father-in-law and a very close friend to the disease. Now, have you ever been to check a lipids test, a cholesterol in the blood test? When was the last time you had a test for that, or for diabetes, or any of that? Considering how many doctors there are in the Asian community, how many Asians actually do go and have regular health checks? Do you? Do you encourage your partner to do so? Does it fall on deaf ears? 81869 on the text, or email nihal@bbc.co.uk. Now, Inderpal, tell us a little bit about your journey. So you start off from Glasgow. I presume you cross over into France, is it?
Yes, I crossed over into France, and then I was off to Belgium, Luxembourg, Germany, Switzerland, Austria, Italy, Slovenia, Hungary, Croatia. Then it was Serbia, Kosovo, Bulgaria, Macedonia, Greece, Turkey, Georgia, Armenia, Iran, Bosnia, Montenegro, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, China, Pakistan, and finally India.
Wow. Dangerous places?
Oh, you wouldn't believe it. I mean, some of the countries were real good fun. There were some finds like Georgia, beautiful countries like that. But dangerous? Yes, Turkmenistan, Iran, upper regions of Pakistan, a bit in Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan was a danger in terms of how the whole terrain is. It's really a lot of snowfall, and there's a valley of death which I was passing through. I didn't even know about it. But yeah, danger was everywhere.
How did you avoid certain sticky situations? And give us an example of when you thought to yourself, oh, this is pretty dangerous.
I think the most dangerous place ever I would ever find on the journey was Pakistan, especially the upper regions. I mean, once I crossed over from China to Pakistan, I was attacked by Al Qaeda in the mountain ranges. That was a very, very scary moment because I was attacked in the middle of the night. And
what happened?
I was driving through an area called, it was an area between Gilgit and Chilas. And it's a tribal region which is not under any control by any government, or there's no police protection there. There was no TVs, no newspapers, there's nothing. And I wasn't aware because I did my search on the internet, finding out the routes that I was covering. And there's not an iota of information about that place, that there's a danger in that place. So when I went in, I was driving in the middle of the night. I made a resolution. I had promised my wife as well that I wouldn't be driving in the night. But when I left from this place called Gilgit, there was a landslide. So I had to wait until that got cleared. And in the middle of the night, I was driving, and suddenly there was some animals pushed in the middle of the road. So I braked, making sure that I haven't hurt any animal, and suddenly I was attacked from all the sides. Now, the good thing was that I had locked my car. The doors were locked. So they were trying to pull the doors, and they found out that there was a foreign car, and they found out I was an Indian traveling through that area. And suddenly there was a shout of, get him out, get him out. And I had opened the window at that point of time, though I hadn't stalled my engine. So this guy came over to my window. He had the butt of the gun facing me, and he said, get out of the car. So I wasn't still not sure what happened really. I mean, I thought it was some local people, or there was probably a civilian police. So I asked him, what's the reason? And he said, you just need to get out of the car, mate. And I told him, I'm just doing this journey. And he said, this is the end of the journey. And somebody from the other side said, shoot him, shoot him. And the moment I heard those words, I mean, it took me 3 seconds, and I had to make a decision. So I put on the gear, released my handbrake, and just shot in the night. I switched off my lights, and I was driving in the dark on this mountain range. And the moment I turned around the corner, I heard the shots being fired at the back. I got to the city of Chelas, and I called the police, telling them that this is what has happened. And the police refused to come. They said even they wouldn't actually come to that area. They said they can probably see me in the morning, but that area is so dangerous, they cannot come to my rescue now. So I'll have to somehow survive the night. I checked into the hotel, and then it was a nightmare. My wife was on the phone all night. I was sort of just on the edge in case I was attacked again, if they would come looking for me. But I called the people involved. The Scottish Parliament had passed a motion which was chaired by MSP Sandra White. So I had the support of the Scottish government. So I called the relevant people. I called the people in India. Who actually called the important dignitaries in Pakistan.
Yeah.
And the next day there was a lot of police protection. There were more than 300 police people involved. There were 6 gunmen and 40 escort vehicles. And I was escorted through that area of Abbottabad where Osama bin Laden was caught. So there was a lot of protection the next day. But, I mean, on those areas, the police actually does, in some of the instances, police wouldn't come in front of my car. They would actually follow me. And when I asked the gunman, what's the reason? I mean, I thought normally you're escorted. I mean, the escort means that you would follow the police. And the gunman said, in case there's a firing, the police would actually turn back because the firing can get out of hand at times, and there are rocket launchers being used. And he said, it's just you and me, mate. Let's fight it out. So it was kind of funny, but I did interview all these guys because the whole journey was videoed. So I had the cameras on my dashboard. I had cameras facing me, and I took interviews of all the gunmen who were sitting with me. But they were supportive, but that was one of the most scary days.
I can imagine. My gosh, terrified. just thinking about it, and I'm sitting here in a nice safe studio at the BBC. Sudesh has said, well done for the gentleman who has done the trip for cancer awareness, all the best to him. Regarding health check, I do get checked every year, and I had one yesterday, and by God's grace all the results are normal, but still I need to do a bit of changes in my eating habits and my lifestyle. Hopefully I will do this year. Sudesh, I couldn't agree with you more, mate. I've really got to sort that out. Kieran from Huddersfield said, firstly, pass on my gratitude and admiration to Inderpal for his work. I've lost both of my grandfathers to cancer, but I still feel there are big taboos about cancer in the Asian community. It frustrates me that throughout their illnesses and when people were coming to pay their respects, the people didn't even feel able to use the word cancer, as if uttering the word is like pronouncing a death sentence. The illness was usually referred to as that disease. I think there are also some cultural sensitivities with older folks towards things like breast and prostate screening, as they can be quite prudish about acknowledging these parts of their bodies. There is still a long way to go to raise awareness and overcome these barriers before we can get our community to acknowledge the early warning signs and seek help in a timely manner. 81869 is the text number.